50% of the vehicles. Close to 10% of vehicles on the road in the U.S. were made in Canada, but they're not at all completely Canadian products. The industry is so integrated between this country and our neighbors to the south that before a vehicle is assembled, the parts are estimated to have crossed the border up to 8 times. And it's not new. This plant in Windsor, Ontario has been making cars since 1928.
The trade that we have between Canada and the United States is fair trade. It's fair, free trade. We aren't the source of the angst.
I'd rather have it done in Detroit.
Well, Donald Trump says he wants the automobile industry moved back to the U.S. from Canada and Mexico. He's promised tariffs starting February 1st.
If he does that in automotive.
Flavio Volpe is with Canada's Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association. His members, he says, work on slim margins. For many, a 5% tariff would wipe out profits. 10% would start putting companies out of business. 25% would mean there's no reason to keep going.
Every product that any of these companies would build would be booking a loss right away.
The first impact of tariffs would be inflation. The cost of vehicles would jump, but it would also cost jobs in both countries. Canadian parts suppliers own more than 150 plants in 19 U.S. states, employing 50,000 Americans. If Trump tries to push tariffs through by declaring an economic or national security emergency, Volpe says there would be court challenges.
It's pretty easy to argue that a Canadian crew cab pickup truck isn't a threat to their national security.
Now, the way the industry is built with cooperation across the border is supposed to make North America more competitive, to help it compete with countries with long histories making vehicles and one big up-and-comer.
We're all worried about China, and this is like going into a race against a top sprinter but breaking your own foot on purpose.
Even if tariffs did force jobs back to the U.S., a trade war would hurt companies in that country. Almost 40% of the vehicles and parts produced by the U.S. are bought by Canada. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Montreal.